The story begins with a room with cages on the ceiling top and a beautiful blonde-hair woman. Consumed by hatred and jealousy, she exclaims, "What they cannot have, neither can she." The blonde is covered in blood and tears fall down her cheeks. If she has to die without grasping anything in her hands, she would rather destroy everything so no one else can covet it. Suddenly the blonde wakes up from her dream drenched in sweat. She cannot make sense of her dream. In the Empire of Camelida, the first princess, Arvella Leon Camelida, exclaims, "What's happening?" Her younger sister turns around happily. The maids bow and greet her. Her younger sister informs her that she was about to punish the lowly one for sullying her eyes. She is the second princess, Chloe Shuna Camelida. She was already annoyed since the early morning, and the girl she sees as a filthy thing dares to walk the path meant only for the royal family. She is the fourth princess, Judith Camelida, a seemingly shy girl with dark hair. It's the first time Arvella has seen her up close. Chloe tells her that although she's an illegitimate child of a slave origin, she doesn't like that she has the golden eyes of the royal family. Arvella firmly states that she has been recognized by the deputy emperor as their sister, so she believed she has enough qualifications to use the imperial path. Chloe seems to be surprised by the firm words of her sister. It also seems Judith is just as surprised, not expecting such kind words from her. She changes the subject and states that she is worried that Chloe been in a bad mood since the morning. She asked if she would like to have some tea together since it's been a long time since they've met. She seems stunned to hear this and nervously accepts. She announces that they should have tea at the first princess's palace. They walk away together, then Arvella instructs a maid to take the child to the palace. They look into each other's eyes for a moment. Arvella then walks away and Judith continue to stare back at her. Judith Camelida, it's a coincidence that she came across that child after having that dream. She wonders if it could be considered faith in some way. 10 days later, her maid inquires about her well-being. She has brought her some cool honey water. Even though the cold magic is maintained, her body feels like a fireball. Marina states that she will be able to regain her strength soon. But then she'll be summoned again to cast magic and collapse again. She exclaims if their deputy emperor intends to drain her to the bone before she dies. Marina tells her not to say such a thing, and it's because she's the greatest magician in Camelida. Arvella tells her she knows that already, but considering the situation she's in, she's not happy with the fact that she is the empire's greatest magician. The maid places a damp cloth on her forehead. Arvella inquires about the child she saw at the palace. Marina refers to her as the Ice Palace Princess. She informed her that she the same as usual. She studies the basic qualities of a royal family member, and other than that she spends most of her time alone. Marina questions if she's become interested in the fourth princess. She states that it's just that she also a member of the royal family. The maid exclaims that she seems to be different. She asked if something's going on. Arvella tells her that it's nothing at all. The truth is the dream she had when she was suffering from a high fever is just bothering her. That night in a mysterious space, she encountered a book, which stated at the age of 12, Judith Camelida believed she could never be happy in her lifetime. Born from a slave, she was not even treated as a person in the palace, especially from the arrogant first princess Arvella. She had to endure countless humiliations from the princesses and princes. Then one day she suddenly awakens her magical power. In a single leap, she becomes a great magician, surpassing all the royals. Arvella exclaims, "What is this? Who could have made such an absurd book?" She believes there should be a limit to insulting the royalty. Thinking that Judith would take everything away from her, Arvella, driven by hatred, reaches out to forbidden sorcery. And as a side effect, she becomes a horrifying monster that knows only slaughter. Thou's meeting a miserable end. The books fall from her hands. The book is called The World of the Shining Princess Judith. So she deciphers that it means that the girl becomes a protagonist of the world. It doesn't seem like something she can just let go. She observed the situation for a few days and saw that the events in the book are actually happening. From the wicked maids pushing Judith into the fountain to embarrass her, to her other siblings tormenting her, the first princess Arvella Leon Carmelita, pure-blooded Carmelita with shining intelligence and beautiful looks. The empire's best magician by natural magical power on a powerful candidate for the next emperor. She questions how could that have happened. Her maid brought her a sherbet with honey. Because she looked tired, after seeing Judith irritating life from her perspective, the things she took for granted suddenly appeared different. She thanks the maids and they seem extremely happy to the point of tears. She wonders if they are excited because it's their first time receiving a greeting. She pondered if she occasionally did it. She recollects that the book said she was arrogant. Of course she thought she was a little superior, but she lived as a tolerant princess on the outside. She decides that she needs to investigate the book. Later on, the maid is brushing her hair and tells her that she's not fully recovered, so she has cancelled all official schedules. The maid inquires what she would like to do for that day. She exclaimed that the old ladies at the Hall of Internal Light must be grumbling about her again. So she might as well go and take a sunbathe to relax. Marina has finished her masterpiece and exclaims that she looks truly beautiful. She tells Marina that she needs to visit her mother. It's been a long time since she's visited the Empress's palace. She used to visit every day when she was young. Back then everything belonged to her. She arrives and sees her mother playing with her son, third Prince Milium Wind Carmelita, and the lady his Empress Cheryl Delphinium. The maid tells Arvella that she definitely sent a message about her visit. She states that she'll go in and let her know again. Arvella tells her it's fine. She feels like an uninvited guest who made an appointment. She tells them that she's feeling dizzy and needs to go back to the palace. She tells them to inform her mother that as well. The maid asks if she won't at least say hello before she leaves. She tells her she'll take the opportunity next time. Her mother started to change when she lavished her with unconditional love. It was right after she was diagnosed with mage fever. This is a disease where the heart cannot handle the immense magic power, causing cracks in the magic core, resulting in losing all magical power and ultimately dying from a severe fever and pain. No one can tell the expiration date of her one and only yet fatal tragedy. Was a princess with major fever considered useless? Her mother kept her illness a secret and soon gave birth to a sibling. That's how Milium was born, so it seemed that she no longer needed her defective daughter. Her thoughts are interrupted by her brother calling for her. He ran towards her and asked if she came to see him. He exclaimed that she was just at the garden party, so why did she leave without saying hello to him? She noticed his dirty hands touching her clean gown and feels a bit irritated but forces a smile. She tells him that her head suddenly started hurting. He asked if he should blow on it for her. He states when he blows like this, his mom said everything gets better, so he'll do it especially for her because she's pretty. She feels a bit awkward and tells him it's okay. He grabs her hair and tells her that she shouldn't say that and she should bow her head quickly. She tells him she feels much better already and thanks him for his concern. But it's not polite to grab someone's hair like that. She smiles on ask if he could let go please. He slowly lets go of her hair. He blames her, exclaiming that it's because she didn't listen to him and if she had only bowed her head sooner. She pats him on the head. He turns red and she exclaims that she gets it. She walks away and inquires if their mother is still at the garden party. He tells her yes. She tells him to have a good time. He leaves and waves goodbye. She holds out her hand and tells Marina to pass the handkerchief. She knows her mother knew that she came since Milium chased after her. But she doesn't even think about seeing her. She feels very hurt. She tells Marina to prepare a bath as soon as they reach home. Also to throw away the handkerchief. Later on in the night she sits on a chair. In the night brushing her hair, she thinks that she shouldn't have gone to the Queen's palace. Her heart weakened because of some strange dream, and she thought she wanted to see her mother. Even though she knows she won't look at her no matter how hard she tries. She cherished her hair so much because she wanted it to touch her mother. People say the first princess looks a lot like the Queen, especially from behind they look very similar. When they see the lovely long blonde hair, it reminds them of the Queen mother when she was young. But that was foolish, a maid passing by looked shocked. Arvella takes a scissors and cuts her beautiful hair. One of the maids shouts "Princess." In the next scene Arvella inquires if Marina heard any noise in the forest. She pouts and states that she doesn't know. Arvella inquires if she's going to do that every time for a trivial matters. Marina exclaimed that it's not trivial and how could she say that? She had suddenly cut off her beautiful hair without saying anything, it's just too heartbreaking. Marina asked why she suddenly came to the forest. She tells her she needs to check something. According to the book, in the forest nobles cruelly hunted young children for fun. When the matter was exposed, the second Queen Katerina, who had been covering for them, became angry and she vented her anger on Judith with her daughter Chloe. If the incident is true, she won't be able to deny that book anymore. A noble appears who is sweating and panting, inquires what brings her there all of a sudden. He is Baron Western, owner of Blovis Forest. She tilts her head and states that he looks uncomfortable. He nervously states that it's nothing. Arvella asks if the annual summer hunting festival is just around the corner and if the location is the Flores Forest. The noble tells her that she is in the Blovis's forest. She exclaims that the name of the forests are similar, so she must have been confused, but she inquires if they are perhaps having a hunting gathering. He is startled by her sudden question. She tells him that she has a hobby of hunting, so she will take a look around while she's there. He anxiously exclaimed that it's dangerous now. If she enters the forest she might get hurt. She hits her stick on the ground and tells him that that joke isn't funny. Because who does he think can hurt her? She levitates off the ground and the noble faints. However, judging by the Baron's reaction, there is no need to investigate further. She senses something with her magic and it's coming closer. She spots a red-haired child in shabby clothes panting and standing in front of an unconscious wolf. A wolf attempts to attack the boy and she exclaims that it's dangerous. She uses her magic that sends a great light in front of him and he stares at her amazed. He exclaimed that she is the Rabbit Leaf Princess. In the next scene the Empire's Royal Knights exclaims that she is amazing. As she had pierced through Baron Western's crime scene with just her intuition and captured him. Arvella exclaims, "Leave the cleanup to Auguste. She'll take her leave." As she turns away she look beautiful and dignified as a noble lady should. The young peasant boy notice very well. She wonders if her faith is to be ruined or if there is a way out. She's been having these thoughts until her head started to hurt. At that time Judith interrupt her thoughts, but she is the cause of her worries and is the last person she would want to talk to. Arvella asks if she doesn't have a lady-in-waiting at her palace. She doesn't seem to understand, so she explains, why is she wandering around alone? A royal should always be accompanied by a lady-in-waiting. She looks down and blushes. She thanks her for her concern and states that she'll keep that in mind. Arvella thinks her words as nonsense. She explains that she is busy and she'll be on her way. Judith tried to speak but only ended up staring at her as she leaves. Later that night she ordered Marina to bring her all of her magic videos stones. She needs to change her mood by watching videos from when she was young. In the video her younger self was holding a zebra. The person recording the video asked her to introduce yourself just once. She tried to block the recording and exclaims she doesn't want to as it's not fun. The person recording laughs and states there are people who want to greet her. She agrees to do it and exclaims that she is Arvella. She turned 5 last week. She smiled and exclaimed that today she came with a new friend and it's nice to meet them. This is her Angel Princesses Smile collection. It is very adorable no matter how many times Marina watches. Marina exclaims that it boosts the highest sales among the royal collections. It was even rumored that the National Treasury was filled by sales of her magic stones. She nervously exclaims so they said, in the next video she was going to show them how to use the water droplets levitation magic. She explained that all they have to do is just detach a little magic and wrap it around the water droplets. Then lift it up, and you're done. Marina tells her she's amazing as Magic Stone is even used in children's basic magic textbooks. But Arvella doesn't look so pleased, because what's the point of being amazing? She is not even the protagonist of the world, it's waiting for nothing but her ruin. Even if that book didn't write about her future, she still doesn't know when she'll die because of the illness. However, it feels strange. It seems the terrible woman in her dream is closer to her than the happy child in the videos. A few days later Arvella attended her sister's tea party, however she wore extensions which are very over the top. She did it reluctantly because Marina insisted. At a fountain the second Queen Katarina welcomed her. Katarina exclaimed that she didn't think she would see her today since she heard she has been staying in the palace lately. She states that she has an extraordinary passion for learning. So she often loses track of time while studying magic formulas. Queen Katarina's dislike for her is still the same. She then exclaimed that her Chloe was also studying magic formulas all night yesterday. Her daughter asked what she's talking about. She revealed that the magic formula teacher quit because of her brother just 2 days ago. She angrily exclaims for her to be quiet. Arvella noticed that she seems to be in a worst mood. She believes it's because of the Bolvas forest incident. The victims of the human hunting incident in the forest were all safe. The book said one person died, so that means that maybe she can change the future written in the book. Chloe introduces her friends to her sister. They all energetically exclaims hello first princess and greet her warmly. In a pleasant tone she tells them it's nice to meet them. She exclaims Chloe put a lot of effort into the party, so they should have a great time. She thinks they are similar to Chloe. It's a casual standing style tea party. She can't believe Queen Katarina allowed it. She plans to play along for a while and leave early. Suddenly she hears a loud sound. All the ladies look shocked. They see Judith holding her face which is extremely red and a noble standing over her. One of the nobles tells the girl there was no need to slap her. She exclaimed that she was just trying to shun a bug away with her fan. Other than apologizing, she blames the Judith, saying it's her fault for being there. They noticed the cookie on the ground and wondered if she ended up like that trying to eat it. The attendees exclaimed to think a princess would end up like that just for a cookie. Chloe mockingly states that she's still here and looking like that. She exclaims that she has no sense. Chloe had ignored her during the tea party and called her there to embarrass her. In Princess Judith's shining world, she might have joined in on the joke. But she doesn't want to be an accomplice in such a lowly trick. Arvella approaches the noble and slaps her on the elbow. She sarcastically states that there is a lot of bugs in the garden because it's summer. She states a bug was trying to land on her napkin. It's not because she feels sorry for her that she's doing this. It's because she can't stand watching such low-level tricks. The noble holds her hand, then exclaims that she understands. Arvella summons her magic and states the bugs flying in the tea palace is ridiculous. She attacks her with her magic right in the forehead. She explained that the bug was about to land on her shoulder. And she was trying to shoo it away but accidentally hit her instead. The noble nervously states that she didn't see it coming and thanks her for shooing it away. She wonders why they're so shy. It's the same thing she did to Judith a moment ago. Chloe hugs her arm and states that her sister has always been kind and nice. Also that she treats those close to her even better. Chloe then bluntly states that Judith should go and not ruin the party's atmosphere. She tells her to go to the third princess's palace. As she heard Liliana was looking for her earlier, Judith bows her head and thanks them for inviting her to the tea party. Currently she may just be a half-blood born between the emperor and a slave, but later not only does she awaken tremendous magical power but her origin as a descendant of the ancient magic kingdom is also revealed. Arvella orders a maid to pack up all the cookies and take them to the fourth princess's palace. She's very aware that it's better to keep an enemy close. She plans to bestow some trivial and petty kindness. She then remembers that Chloe mentioned something earlier. She runs off after remembering that in the book Judith almost got into big trouble after encountering a magical plant on her way to the third princess. She didn't think it would be today as there is no mention of Chloe's party. While she is running she hears screaming. A monster plant holds Judith's leg and she screams for help. Arvella tells her to stop screaming and be still. Judith looks at her with tears running down her face. She sees Arvella levitating in all her glory. Arvella uses her magic to cut a vine from the flower monster. She asked if she's okay. Judith thanks her for saving her. She was really scared. Arvella informs her that this area is a magic plant garden so it's dangerous. She explains that she knew that, but the smell was so sweet that she couldn't help herself. Judith hugs her and cries on her chest. Arvella seems to soften and states if she doesn't have resistance to magical plants. It's easy to be enchanted by their scent. She should be careful next time and don't come near the area. She checks her Nepenthes and sees it's safe. She was growing it for her potion research but luckily it only had its stem cuts clean. Suddenly someone exclaims that they heard screaming earlier and asked if it was her. But it did not sound like their lovely sister's voice. This is a person with blue eyes and dark hair. He asked if the one who screamed earlier is inside its belly. In the book it wasn't her but this guy who was supposed to save Judith in this situation. He stumbled upon her and when she begged for help, he asked why he should help a hybrid girl like her. With a narcissistic smile he exclaimed she should try to convince him. And then pretending to help, he burnt all her plants. She looks at him angrily. He asked why she's looking at him that way. She inquires why he's in the magic garden and if he came to touch her Nepenthes. He tells her he doesn't want that sort of thing, instead he likes beautiful magic plants that match him. She can't stand this narcissist. She wonders where he got the mirror from. The second queen Katerina is worried about promoting her son Ramil to crown prince. But the person himself isn't even interested in the throne. In the book he tormented Judith and was even punished by the male protagonist. She tells him to stop talking nonsense and live quietly. He puts his hand around her and states that she's been too cold to her long-lost brother. She smacks his hand away and tells him to shut up, and that he was born 7 months later than her. He exclaimed that she is very cold-hearted. She walks away and exclaims that she doesn't have time to play with him. In an instant she vanishes. He wonders if she has anything to hide. He summons a serpent, and decides to make it watch her. That evening at the fourth princess's palace, she receives a box of cookies from the first princess. She felt touched by the kindness. She slowly nibbles a piece of the cookie, savoring every bite. It's so sweet. She remembers the first princess saved her from the plant. It was the first time someone came when she needed help. She decides to eat the cookie. Little by little she'll keep it forever. The next day Marina informed her that she received a letter from the third young master of the Montero family. It's been 5 years and he's been sending them diligently. Marina asks what are those books she's reading. She informed her that they're magical pharmaceutical research. When actually they're both about mage fever. She opens the letter and it simply states the first princess is a person born to be loved. 5 years ago, many young masters from prestigious families were presented as engagement candidates, but her illness made things difficult. Although her condition isn't known to the public, it's probably because finding a good fiancé for a princess with an uncertain future is not cost-effective. She scents the snake somewhere in her palace. She informs Marina that it seems like a bug is sneaking around the palace barrier. Marina exclaims again and wondered if it came attached to the letter. Arvella knows that the magical power is either Ramil or second Queen Katerina. She utilizes her own magic and gets rid of the serpent. Marina informs her that it will be soon time for the banquet with His Majesty. At the banquet hall, the Emperor asked what happened to her hair. His name is Cedric Ziegbarth Lazen Camelita. Her siblings seem just as curious. She can't believe that he's seen her for the first time, and that's what he asks. It's clear she was bedridden because of someone until recently, yet he doesn't apologize or show concern as always. All she can do is just remain silent. Ramil states her hair was long just yesterday. He asked what happened overnight. He exclaimed if she experienced heartbreak. She covered his mouth with her magic, and tells him she won't hesitate to use a silent spell if he keeps talking nonsense. The Emperor tells them to stop this behavior at the dining table. He exclaimed that the second prince has been lazy with physical labor and the first prince has been scheming, relying on superficial information received from others. Arvella thinks he's pretending to be a considerate father with only a shallow understanding. He then tells the first princess that she should just continue as she is. Everyone thinks she's flawless because of father's favor, but it's because they think she has no future due to her illness. Because of the terrible atmosphere, she could barely eat her meal. Her brother meets her and asks if she had really went through heartbreak. He exclaimed that Chloe would have been shocked to see her, but she overslept and couldn't come that day. She angrily exclaimed if he doesn't want to be scolded again, he should stop talking nonsense. He explained that he's glad nothing happened and to celebrate her new short hair, she should take some magical stone pictures with her brother. She exclaims absolutely not. Suddenly a voice shouts, "Hurry up and walk." Ramil states the boy they're escorting is the heretic she saved from Bolvis Forest. Ramil explains that he's the son of Count Rasner, who was arrested for using forbidden magic a month ago. Count Glenn Rasner, a man who made a name for himself in the Hall of Eternal Life with his outstanding appearance and exceptional magic skills. It's said that he started to change gradually after a sudden bereavement. Eventually he cut off all social activities and stayed confined in his territory, not coming out. He was then arrested as a sinner of forbidden magic and it became a huge gossip topic. The count either face execution or life imprisonment. The family will also be held responsible and they have to live like slaves for 5 years in the Hall of Eternal Light. Surprisingly, she who had planned to be ruined by using forbidden magic had saved the son of a sinner who lost everything because of forbidden magic. She doesn't remember reading about this in the book. She wonders if it is a coincidence. She feels it's very disgusting. Ramil takes out the magical video stone and exclaims that she looks troubled. He asked if there is something wrong. He asked her to take a picture with him. Then their sales will be better if she's in it. He pleads with her, but it only makes her feel grossed out. She states that he should wake up to reality as there is no way she'll work with him again in the future. And destroys the magic stone. She then confronts him about him shadowing her palace again. He tells her that she's too obsessed with him. She walks away, but he noticed that she looks the same as usual, but her expression earlier is different. The prideful Arvella made a face that looked like she was about to cry. If she really had her heart broken, he would love to teach that guy a lesson. He tried to observe what she was doing, always confined in the palace with shadow magic, but she's too perceptive, so there's not much to gain. She always says no one should bother her as she's researching magic formulas, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. He ponders for a moment and didn't realize that it seems she's interested in the fourth princess lately. He wonders if he should look into that, as she never told him not to touch Judith. So he plans to attach one to the child's side, on another one to his mother's side. He's heard that she's been meeting with her uncle a lot lately. He wonders what kind of scheme is she cooking up again. In Carmelita Magic Library, she came to find information about her fever in the royal archives, but it doesn't look like there's much there either. If there had been a cure, the emperor and her mother would have found it for her long ago, because to them she must be a valuable princess we're keeping alive. But that's it. She decided not to rely on anyone anymore. She'll find the solution herself. She'll determine whether she is useful or not. She then notices a barrier spell for the restricted reading section. There might be something useful in there, so she decides to take a quick look. She wonders why are there anti-test spells in these books. She enters the room. She noticed that there are quite a few magic books she's never seen before. She picks up a book which is titled The Other Side of the World. Only a chosen few among the greatest wizards can peek into the secrets of this other world. Only those who will not crumble upon learning the truth of the universe. Only those who can go to this place wizards call it the other side of the world. She wonders if it could be the space she saw in her dream. There were other wizards who had the same experience as her. Many people accounted that in the vast space there were countless bird cages filled with clusters of light. Holding to the truth of this world, their life is divided into before and after visiting the other side. This is exactly what she felt. Her hand begins to tremble. If only they had shown her a way to cure her illness instead of something like that. To prevent her future self from making such a choice. The forbidden magic she had used in Princess Judith's shining world required a sacrifice. To halt the progress of her disease she had to sacrifice an innocent life. Well, ultimately she failed and became a monster facing death. She wonders what will happen if she doesn't become a monster. She thinks that it will be enough to avoid failing while using the forbidden magic. Since hardly anyone knows about her illness, all she has to do is sacrifice someone who no one would look for. As long as she succeeded in the forbidden magic, she might be able to change her fate.